Tonight, 10 years after the fire that destroyed the primary healthcare facility in the south of the island, the people still await the reconstruction of St. Jude. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet involved in a near miss on an aircraft that narrowly avoided a mid-air collision with another aircraft in the Bahamas. And St. Lucians could soon be seeing the end of a monopolized business sector. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Monday, the 9th of September 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, channel 117, also being simulcast on Kiss FM. You can also watch on our website. It's www.caribbeanhottv.com or on our free Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm lovely Saint Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The state of the health sector in St. Lucia continues to spark outrage from concerned citizens who question the decision-making of the powers that be. Architect and concerned citizen Mark Hennicott urges healthcare providers and health admin to speak up about the state of St. Lucia's healthcare system. He says with the 10-year anniversary of the St. Jude fire, it is heartbreaking to see the lack of progress and to know that hospital services are still housed at the George Odlum Stadium. Solange Alfred begins our reporting.
Health is wealth, or so the saying goes, and yet St. Lucia continues to struggle with healthcare issues following the devastating fire of St. Jude's Hospital in Beaufort back in 2009. The fire claimed the lives of 3 individuals on that fateful day and also caused significant infrastructural damage to the island's second largest public hospital. The George Odlum Olympic Stadium, 2 miles away from the St. Jude Hospital, has acted as the temporary home for staff and patients of the destroyed hospital from 2009 to 2019. Project architect with Inter-Island Architect and Planners Mark Hennicott says 10 years is too long a time for resolve to this matter and urges health providers and ancillary staff to let their voices be heard in regards to the work conditions faced daily.
It is a significant date for persons, some who suffered the loss of their loved ones who died in that fire. But what's more significant is that after 10 years, these people, the hospital staff, people who have labored, the ancillary staff, nursing staff, medical and surgical professionals have not been able to move out of their current condition, working environment, and move to a safer, more conducive environment. That, I think, is a crisis that I think is unfortunate, and persons who can do and should do need to do something about what is happening in Beaufort.
Hennicott highlights the vulnerability of the south of the island as an area prone to the thrashings of adverse weather. He says this situation, coupled with the crippling healthcare provided in the south, is a recipe for a disaster waiting to happen.
Whereas even currently our Prime Minister is in the Bahamas leading a delegation, having been the chair of the seat of CARICOM, leaving to assist in a situation that nobody wants to be or find themselves within, and he is doing what he's required to do, being the chair. But he has a crisis on his hands in St. Lucia that he has, in many people's opinions, he has not paid sufficient attention to. A lot of lip service. St. Lucia's healthcare service is falling apart, and it needs people to pull it, the right people to pull it and put the requisite finance in place. Technical and financial resources need to be deployed now for the help, for the sake of the people of this country. We are doing nothing to even salvage what's considered to be healthcare or minimum healthcare in the south of the island, currently operating out of the George Odlum Stadium. I think it is a shame that we have brought ourselves to that point, and we too in St. Lucia can be like the Bahamians, and sorry to say the south of the island can be worse off without having a hospital or healthcare facility to turn to, albeit, God forgive if we are faced with a situation like that with even another tropical storm or the threat thereof.
Prime Minister Shasni made the announcement in July of 2019 that a Taiwanese construction firm would be tasked with completing the St. Jude reconstruction project. The project will consist of a new wing which will incorporate all functions and services of the pre-existing East and Surgical Wing. However, Hennicott, an architect by profession, questions the logistics as well as sustainable efforts behind the outlined reconstruction plan.
To build 5 or as many new buildings amounting to over 140,000 square feet of space to replace those in a time where the world is speaking of sustainable development, the world is speaking of recycling. Why can't we deploy the necessary know-how with the experienced technical, construction and medical professionals to determine how we can best use what has already been built rather than demolish or repurpose? It's another crisis. And I think it speaks to our unwillingness to cooperate in a country that has such few and such little resources to spend on rebuilding, far less demolishing.
Meanwhile, a 2020 deadline for the completion of the St. Jude's Hospital was given by PM Shasni, who is quoted as saying, "We hope to have in this area a hospital that will erase the sad memories of the last 10 years that resulted in the St. Jude Hospital to operate from a sports stadium." He says, "I would again like to place on record my government's appreciation for the patience and cooperation of the doctors, nurses and staff of St. Jude during these very difficult 10 years, and to promise them that we are now beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel." End quote. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solaj Alfred.
Meanwhile, former Health Minister Dr. Keith Mondesi says the period of time that it is taking to rebuild St. Jude Hospital is unacceptable. Speaking with Hot 7 TV's Jacques Wooding, he called on the government to answer to the people and put proper procedures in place for personnel to acquire information on the development of the proposed new facility.
On September 9, 2009, the St. Jude Hospital in Beaufort was set ablaze. The fire began in the surgical ward of the hospital, then spread to the operating theater, leaving a path of destruction. This not only rendered the facility unfit to house the hospital, but claimed the lives of 3 patients. The hospital was then relocated to the George Odlum Stadium, supposedly for a few months. However, on September 9, 2019, as we observed the 10th anniversary of the fire, no new facility has been completed. Former Minister for Health, Dr. Keith Mondesi, says at the 10-year mark and on its 3rd year in term, it is time that the UWP administration put proper avenues in place for the public to monitor the progress of the St. Jude Hospital project.
I am a man that has always said, I see nothing to die for, I see everything to live for. And some of us in the Ministry of Health are not recognizing the importance of a healthy nation. Today marks the anniversary of the fire. I was present on the ground. I was present when the first child was born in that situation. There is no reason why, after 3 years in government, that this present government cannot come to a conclusion. I asked them on a number of occasions, why are we not bringing in Shanta King, who was the civil engineer in charge of the project? Why are we not bringing in the Sikh fella that was the consultant? And let the people and the government and the opposition ask them questions about the claims that the government have. That's why we cannot complete this hospital.
Dr. Mondesi claims that the government is releasing fraudulent information in regards to this project and questions why it would be necessary to outsource consultants when local engineering professionals do exist and are qualified. Dr. Mondesi says he is not pleased with the lackluster approach of the current administration and that he does not entrust them to ensure the presence of proper health facilities in the south of the island.
I need to know from the government why the engineers of St. Lucia are not engineers, that you don't want to listen to them, but yet you're not bringing in outside engineers to give you the opportunity to clear your name. And I think that the people of St. Lucia, if they are happy with that, Dr. Mondesi is not happy, because I know we need a proper health facility in the south. And I want the government to know that this is the anniversary. something has to be done within the next 6 months to make sure that we get this on stream. Because all the things they're claiming, they cannot justify it. They don't have an engineer to justify it. They have not brought a consultant. All the consultants they paid, they have not brought a consultant with the expertise in hospital to tell us what they're saying is true or false.
Dr. Mondesi says if he were to advise the government on moving forward with the project, he would first address the issue of validity.
The advice I would give to the government, one, get the people responsible for what you claim. Shanta King, who was the project manager, the Indian guy who was the consultant. Then get an independent person, an engineer, somebody with the expertise on hospital construction, bring them to the St. Lucian people, not giving $1 million to one of their friends to give you a report that has not shown up to now, and let them in a forum, an open forum, let them give us reports and justify what they are claiming.
Dr. Mondesi highlights that in order for him to be satisfied with the project, the government must issue valid and appropriate information on what is happening behind closed doors. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
We also took to the streets to hear what you have to say about the St. Jude reconstruction, which has now officially been a decade in the making.
I do not think anything has been done by this administration. I don't think they care about health nor education. And we need to take a firm stand against this government, to stand with our people, to see that everything that's supposed to be done, because there has been borrowing monies upon monies and giving it to foreign investors, and what's supposed to be done is not being done for the people of this country. Why would we have the poor people in a stadium for so long? Money has been collecting upon monies. Why is this government doing this to the people of St. Lucia?
And they lost the election, so the UWP should have continued. I cannot find any excuse for the UWP not completing the hospital. They should have completed it. You understand? Because they had started it before, the other one continued. You understand? The other government continued, they didn't finish. Therefore, the UWP should have continued and then the hospital would have been completed by now.
Je suis dissatisfait, mais satisfait. Je suis exorbitant, comme si ni l'un ni l'autre, je prie ça, je prie manière puisque je pièce pas à faire, pas à faire. C'est quoi je regarde?
No, I'm not satisfied because it's been a long time we're going through that. We only have 2 hospitals in St. Lucia, and you know the way the situation is at Victoria Hospital is not nice. Because you know, right now they're not even the kids right now that could have enjoyed the sports right now. They're in the stadium right now. Things changing, you understand, the government, neither Labour Party nor UWP never do anything. St. Lucia never changed. St. Lucia the same way, you understand? So they just need to make a change, you understand, because healthcare in St. Lucia is very low and we need to make things better for the people of St. Lucia.
Honestly, I'd have to say no. Because if you tell me that both governments have been in power and it's been 10 years since the hospital burned down and the hospital cannot be fixed up yet, I say we'd be unsatisfied with that. They should be pushing for the hospital to finish so that the people can get better treatment and get a better place than where they are currently.
No, I'm not satisfied. I believe that you know, we as citizens need to put party politics aside, and this is our health, and we need the institutions to be and the mechanisms to be in place where we can be attended to in the event we fall sick. And I find, you know, sometimes our people play too much politics with this thing, and it should stop. In 2019, after 10 years, no. If you go to the south, we have an international airport. We want to talk about tourists coming here and this sort of thing, but we really need to have our hospitals in place.
This issue needs to be rectified sooner than later. It's been going on for too long and people are suffering. Yeah?
Je ne suis pas satisfait. Mais il y a l'hôpital, tout le monde est à l'hôpital. Et qui a les pour manger. Tout comme là, n'est pas passé ça, à blâmer ça, à blâmer ça. Yes. Il n'y a pas faire. Et qui n'y pas faire. Parce que l'autre élection pour ça qu'ils viennent là faire. C'est ça qu'on a.
Those were your views in our Have Your Say segment. An aircraft with the Prime Ministers of St. Lucia and the Bahamas as well as other officials was involved in a near miss in Bahamas airspace. That was according to local reports that said Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis of the Bahamas was accompanied by CARICOM Chairman and St. Lucia Prime Minister Alan Chasney, the Turks and Caicos Premier Charlene Cartwright Robinson, CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque, and CIDIMA's Executive Director along with other officials. There was a drop in altitude and the pilot explained that the drop in altitude was due to Bahamas aircraft having to avoid another aircraft that refused to respond. The Bahamas was devastated by the passage of Hurricane Dorian, resulting in the death of at least 45 people. The Tribune said that Bahamas Air was headed to the Abaco Islands on Friday to assess hurricane recovery and relief efforts on that island. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Coming up after the break, an alleged stalker and domestic abuser is nabbed in the city. A former cultural attaché adds his voice to the growing chorus of concern about the National Sports Academy. And St. Lucians could soon be seeing the end of monopolized business. That and more when we return.